Chosen one, listen carefully. You are not a random creation. You are intentional. Every breath you take is evidence that heaven still has purpose for your life. Before you ever took your first step, God already wrote your path. You didn't stumble into existence. He released you into time for a divine reason. There were days you felt like an extra in someone else's story. But you were actually the main character in heaven's unfolding plan. You've wondered why the crowd could never hold you. Why peace never stayed in shallow spaces, because you were never designed for shallow waters. You are called to swim in depths where ordinary souls drown. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 10. Now go, for I am sending you. Bring my people out of Egypt. That same command echoes in your spirit. God is sending you not to replicate, but to liberate. You are the answer to someone's cry. The bridge between despair and deliverance. You might not feel ready. Moses didn't either. He trembled, stuttered, questioned his worth. But heaven didn't choose him for eloquence. Heaven chose him for obedience. And the same is true for you. Once, there was a young man named Eli. For years, he prayed for clarity, but received silence. Friends moved forward. Doors opened for others. Yet his stayed shut. He thought God had forgotten him, until one morning, a simple act of kindness, helping a stranger on the street, turned into a divine appointment. That stranger later opened a door that changed Eli's entire life. And in that moment, Eli realized the delay was not denial, it was divine timing, aligning every piece. That's what God has been doing with you, aligning, rearranging, preparing. He's been protecting you from places that could have poisoned your potential. The rejection that once broke your heart was actually heaven's redirection. You have carried questions. Why can't I stay comfortable? Why do I lose people when I start to grow? Because growth always demands separation. Like gold in a furnace. You've been purified in private, so your light can shine in public. You are stepping into a new chapter where the pain will finally make sense. Imagine a lighthouse standing alone against the storm. It takes the full weight of the wind and waves. Yet its flame never goes out. That is you, steady, luminous, unshaken. The storm doesn't prove your weakness, it proves your assignment. Some will misunderstand you. Some will try to define you by your past. But heaven has already renamed you. Your identity is not wounded. It's chosen, not forgotten, but favored. No, chosen one. Something is shifting right now. The same spirit that called Moses from the fire is stirring your own flame. You may not see the full picture, but the command is simple. Go. Step out of the Egypt of fear. Step into the promise that's been waiting for you. When you obey, heaven moves. Mountains bow, chains fall, and everything that once resisted, you will begin to recognize the authority on your life. If you feel this message igniting your spirit, take a moment, don't scroll away. This is your sign. Heaven is marking you again, reminding you that you carry something the world desperately needs. Type 777 inches, the comments, as a silent agreement between you and heaven. A declaration that you are ready to rise. Ready to walk in the calling that's been waiting for you. Like this message, if it stirred something within you, share it so another hidden chosen one might find their confirmation. Subscribe if your heart tells you this is your season, because this journey of revelation has only just begun. You are standing at the doorway of transformation now. The next step will not require your strength, but your surrender. What is ahead of you was built for your faith, not your fear. Heaven waits for your yes. Every chain that held you is losing power. The silence you endured has matured your spirit. Step boldly into the new dawn. The same fire that called you will now carry you forward. The heavens are aligning in your favor. Though you may not yet see the pattern, every unanswered prayer is weaving into purpose. The winds that once opposed you are shifting behind you now, pushing you forward into fulfillment. You were chosen not to survive, but to reign with grace and power. Soon, the world will witness what heaven already knows about you. The oil on your life cannot be hidden any longer. Stand firm, lift your chin, and walk into the light prepared for you. The season of revelation is here. Your name carries divine weight and unstoppable glory. There comes a time in every chosen one's life when the noise fades, and you find yourself utterly alone, not by accident, not because you did something wrong, but because heaven has led you there. Isolation is not abandonment, it is invitation. You once called it loneliness. You called it rejection. You thought the silence meant God had forgotten you. But the truth is, He was calling you away from the distractions that drowned His voice. You had to be separated to hear Him clearly. You had to lose certain people, places, and versions of yourself to meet the real you, the one He chose before the beginning of time. The Word of God declares in the book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 14, "Therefore, I will allure her, lead her into the wilderness, and speak tenderly to her." The wilderness isn't punishment, it's conversation. It's where heaven whispers what the crowd could never understand. You were drawn into that quiet valley, not to be broken, but to be rebuilt. In the stillness, your heart learns the rhythm of divine timing. You may remember how suddenly everything shifted, doors closing, friends drifting away, the familiar becoming foreign. That was your invitation letter to the wilderness. God doesn't send a calendar reminder for it. One day, you just wake up and realize you're standing in the middle of nowhere, with no map yet somehow. You know this is holy ground. When the noise of the world finally stopped, heaven began to speak, not with thunder, but with tenderness, that whisper that told you, keep going. When you were on the edge of giving up, it wasn't your mind. It was the same voice that spoke galaxies into motion. You might think, if I'm chosen, why does it hurt so much? Because being chosen means being carved. The wilderness carves away the parts of you that can't carry destiny. It strips the noise so the signal becomes pure. It takes everything temporary so you can anchor in what's eternal. There's a story of a woman named Arya, another chosen one who wandered through her wilderness. After losing her job and closest friend in the same week, she sank into silence. She cried out, "God, are you still here?" Weeks passed without answers, until one morning, while walking through an empty park, she heard the soft rustle of leaves, and deep within, something said, "I never left." That was all she needed. No miracle, no vision, just that assurance. From then, peace grew where despair once lived. The wilderness does that. It teaches you that faith doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. It replaces your dependency on outcomes with dependency on His presence. It turns you from a seeker of signs into a carrier of truth. Think of a sculptor working on marble. Each strike of the chisel seems violent, yet every blow brings the hidden image closer to light. That's how heaven works on you, in isolation. Every loss, every delay, every silence, it's a chisel shaping purpose. And though you may cry in those unseen nights, know this: your tears are watering the soil of your calling. No pain in this wilderness is wasted. God collects each one, turning them into strength you'll soon need for the stage He's preparing. This is why your isolation season is sacred. It's where your voice is tuned, where your faith stops being borrowed and becomes your own. It's where you learn to stand without applause, to believe without evidence, to love without being loved back. When you emerge, you won't even realize how much you've changed. The noise that once drained you will no longer move you. The opinions that once mattered will fade. Because once you've heard the tender voice of God in the wilderness, every other sound loses its power. So if you are in that quiet place right now, don't rush it. Don't curse it. Let it do its work. The silence is forming your strength. The stillness is sharpening your discernment. Heaven hasn't left you. It's simply reintroducing you to the version of you that the world has not met yet. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that what felt like exile was really encounter, that what felt like loss was actually leading. The wilderness was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to define you. In the silence, your spirit is being refined like gold in unseen fire. Every unanswered prayer is shaping endurance. Soon, your wilderness will become your testimony of unwavering faith and divine resilience. When the dawn breaks, you'll understand why solitude was sacred. The voice that called you there will now call you forward, stronger, wiser, ready to lead others home. Every scar tells a sacred story. Every wound carries a whisper from heaven. You thought those broken moments were your end, but they were divine evidence that you are not ordinary. You are chosen through fire. Every tear you shed was counted, not one wasted. When pain visits the chosen ones, it is never without purpose. It refines what comfort could never teach. The nights you cried alone were classrooms of destiny, where faith was taught in silence. You asked, "Why me?" And heaven replied, "Because you could handle what others couldn't." As revealed in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." This verse is not about timing, it's about transformation. The morning doesn't just mean sunrise, it means revelation. The moment your heart finally understands why it all happened, that's when morning breaks inside you. There was a young man named Darren, a quiet soul who seemed to face endless loss. His business collapsed. His relationships fell apart. And he was left wondering if God had turned away. One night, he whispered a simple prayer: "If you're still with me, show me purpose in this pain." No, he didn't see lightning or miracles, just a slow change. Day by day, compassion replaced bitterness. Strength grew where fear once ruled. Months later, he began counseling others who felt abandoned. That's when it hit him. The very pain that nearly destroyed him became the tool that built his purpose. Your story carries the same mystery. What hurt you was actually molding you. God did not break you to shame you. He broke you to shape you. Like a potter pressing clay, He saw the masterpiece within your mess. Every disappointment was divine design. Every closed door was protection in disguise. You are not the sum of your losses. You are the proof that endurance produces glory. Imagine a diamond under pressure. For years, it sits beneath the earth, unseen, crushed by weight. But that same pressure is what gives it brilliance. Without the crushing, there is no shine. And so it is with you. When you feel forgotten, remember, even silence has a sound in heaven. Your groans, your sighs, your broken whispers, all of it has been translated into intercession. Nothing has been ignored. Chosen one, this is your season to see redemption unfold. Every wrong turn, every heartache, every sleepless night, they have been rewritten into your crown. The things that once made you weep will soon make you worship. You may not believe it yet, but the wounds that bled you are becoming wells that bless others. Pain has a strange way of making prophets. The one who suffers deeply often sees clearly. You see through the illusion now. What mattered wasn't the loss, it was the lesson. And here's what heaven wants you to understand. Your survival was not accidental. You didn't crawl out of darkness by luck. You were carried by unseen hands. God has been training your soul in the gym of endurance. Every push, every tear, every breath taken when you wanted to give up it all built spiritual muscle. So when you see the scars, don't hide them. Lift them as evidence that you and grace have history together. The wounds prove you're not finished. They prove you're forged. Take a deep breath. Let gratitude replace bitterness. You made it here for a reason. The same God who allowed the breaking is the one who will bring the blessing. If this truth awakens something within you, type "Still I Shine" in the comments. Let it be your declaration to heaven that no matter what tried to bury you, your light refuses to die. You shine not because life was easy, but because grace was greater, even when your heart still trembles from the weight of yesterday. I know this healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means seeing the wound and realizing it no longer controls you. The scar remains, but it glows now, not bleeds. You've carried burdens that could have broken others, yet here you are, still breathing, still standing. That is proof that divine grace never left your side. Every heartbeat is a testimony that your mission continues. When others doubted your strength, heaven celebrated your endurance. The pain you endured has become language. You now speak healing in ways only the broken can understand. You comfort because you once needed comfort. You forgive because you once needed forgiveness. So, walk forward gently, knowing that your story is no longer about survival, it's about revival. Every chapter written in tears is being rewritten in light. You are becoming the message you once prayed to hear. There are seasons when heaven hides you, and you wonder if your efforts have been forgotten. But hiddenness is not neglect, it is strategy. Before God reveals you, refines you, every unseen day, every quiet hour, every moment when you questioned your worth was part of divine preparation. You've been in what feels like delay, but heaven calls it training. The world may celebrate speed, yet God honors depth. He would rather make you solid than make you seen too soon. That's why your promotion was postponed, your plans rerouted, your circle reduced. The silence was not rejection, it was rehearsal. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 18, verse 4. But the pot he was shaping from the clay was marred in his hands, so the potter formed it into another pot, shaping it as seemed best to him. And this verse holds your reflection. You are the clay, still spinning on the wheel. The potter's hands never left you. Even when the shaping felt like breaking, he keeps turning you, reshaping you, softening what's too rigid and strengthening what's too fragile. The pressure you feel is proof that he's still working. There's a moment between being chosen and being revealed, a sacred in-between, where heaven works on the roots before displaying the fruit. You are in that moment. Every hidden year is a root year. God is burying your strength deep so that when the winds of exposure come, you will not fall. Consider the way a tree grows. Long before it pierces the soil, it's expanding underground. Roots intertwine with stone, anchoring against future storms. No one applauds it during that phase. Yet, it's the most vital part of its existence. That's you, anchoring unseen. There was a young woman named Nia who spent years serving in silence. She volunteered, prayed, gave, and yet nothing seemed to move forward. Others were celebrated while she remained overlooked. But she didn't stop. She kept nurturing her faith in the background. Years later, an opportunity appeared, one that required everything she had learned in that hidden place. In that moment, she understood. Obscurity was not punishment. It was preparation. God often hides his greatest treasures. Diamonds are never found on the surface. Pearls are formed in darkness. And oil is pressed from the olive only through crushing. Hiddenness protects what is still developing. If people could access you too early, they might mishandle what God is shaping. There's beauty in the unseen process. When no one is watching, you pray more honestly. You wrestle with doubt. Confront your motives. And learn to love God for who he is, not for what he gives. The hidden place refines your purity of purpose. It strips away the desire to perform and teaches you to simply be. In this season, your silence has been holy. Every "not yet" from heaven has built spiritual endurance in you. Waiting has stretched your faith until it became muscle. You're learning that God's later is not never. It's simply after you're ready. Think of David tending sheep before facing Goliath. No one saw him practicing with his sling, singing to God in the fields. But those quiet days were his training ground. When the day of battle came, he didn't need to search for faith. It was already embedded in his hands. That's what God is doing with you now, embedding faith into your reflexes. When pressure comes, you'll respond with peace. When fear whispers, courage will rise automatically. The hidden training produces instinctive obedience. So, if your life feels paused, remember, heaven doesn't pause to punish, it pauses to prepare. Your isolation is incubation. The silence you feel is the sound of seeds growing under soil. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's necessary. And one day, when God lifts the veil, you will realize that every unnoticed hour was forming the foundation for what's coming next. The people who once overlooked you will see strength they never imagined. But by then, it won't even matter, because your heart will be too anchored in obedience to need their approval. The hidden training ground is sacred because it removes pretense. It humbles your heart while sharpening your vision. It teaches you to be faithful with little so you can be trusted with much. You're not behind schedule. You're right on heaven's timeline. Hold steady. Keep tending your roots. Keep honoring the silence. For the same God who hid you is the one who will reveal you, and when he does, it will be undeniable that the waiting was worth it. And when that moment arrives, you won't need to announce yourself. The fragrance of your faith will do it for you. Those who once doubted will simply witness what God already finished in secret. There is a weight that comes with being chosen, a weight that others may never understand. It is the invisible mantle resting on your shoulders, the call to carry both light and responsibility. Many crave the crown, but few can bear its cost. You, however, were built for it. You've felt it for years now, haven't you? That constant pull between what's comfortable and what's calling you higher. You try to rest, but your spirit keeps stirring. You sense that something greater is required of you. That feeling is not burden, it is purpose, awakening. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. No, purpose always outweighs plans. You had a vision of how your life should go, but heaven rewrote it, not to punish you, but to align you with something eternal. And the cost of carrying divine purpose often feels like walking through fire barefoot, but through that fire, gold is revealed. The truth is, being chosen doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means your life becomes meaningful. Every challenge becomes a chapter in your testimony. Every delay becomes a lesson. Every heartbreak becomes an open door for compassion to flow through you. There was a man named Caleb who carried dreams of serving others through faith-based work. Yet for years, he faced closed doors. He tried. He failed. He questioned if God was truly with him. But deep within, something whispered, "Keep building, even if no one sees it yet." So he did. He kept sharing messages, lifting hearts, one person at a time. Then one day, someone wrote him a note. "Your words stopped me from giving up." In that moment, Caleb realized his quiet obedience had changed eternity for someone, chosen one. Your faithfulness matters more than you think. Heaven keeps count of the things no one applauds. The prayers whispered through tears, the sacrifices made in silence, the hope kept alive when everything looked impossible. Sometimes, the work you do for God feels like pouring water into invisible soil. You see no harvest yet. But trust this, the roots are forming. The seeds you plant through your faith, your love, your giving, they are building unseen foundations that heaven will one day reveal. And as this message reaches you, if you felt nourished, strengthened, or reminded of your worth, know that what we are building here together is holy ground. These messages, this light, these words are all part of something bigger than both you and me. I want to speak to your heart, gently, not as a demand, but as an invitation. Imagine a candle burning bright in the dark. Its flame keeps others warm, yet the wax slowly melts. When another heart adds even a drop of oil, the light grows stronger. That's what your support does. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every drop of oil keeps this fire alive. You are never required. You are simply invited. When you give, whether it's a kind word, a prayer, a share, or a small donation, you're not losing, you're extending light. Your oil becomes part of the flame that reaches someone else's midnight. If this message touched you, take a gentle step of faith like a ripple spreading through still water. Click like if this light warmed you. Share it so another soul might find dawn again. Subscribe so we can continue walking this path together. And if your heart whispers to give, listen to that whisper. It's heaven asking to multiply what healed you. Giving here is not payment, it's participation. It's you saying, I believe this flame should keep burning, and every drop you pour, whether large or small, returns to you as light in another form. Chosen one. Remember, no one can extinguish a flame protected by love. Thank you for being oil to the fire, wings to the message, and heart to the mission. The same God who gave you breath will multiply your giving, not in coins, but in miracles, peace in your mind, clarity in your path, strength in your heart. What leaves your hand never leaves your life. It simply returns transformed. Every act of faith, no matter how quiet, echoes in eternity. Your kindness today may become tomorrow's rescue for someone unseen. Heaven records every drop of oil, every lifted prayer, every heart that dares to believe again. As the flame continues to burn, may your life mirror its light steady, warm, unstoppable. You are part of a divine circle of giving and receiving. Proof that love sustains what money cannot. The mission lives because hearts like yours keep believing. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the invisible mark on your life begins to shine brighter than ever before. People may not understand it, but they will feel it, the pull, the difference, the quiet authority that surrounds you. It's not pride, it's heaven's seal. You have walked through silence, storms, and shadow, yet something inside you never broke. That something was not your strength, it was God's imprint. You carry an unseen signature that darkness can recognize and cannot destroy. Every challenge you've endured has pressed that seal deeper into your spirit, engraving proof that you belong to heaven. As the apostle reminds us in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 24, do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. End of war. This race isn't about competing with others, it's about finishing what heaven started in you. You were chosen not just to participate, but to prevail. That's why the attacks against you felt personal. They were never about destroying your life, but disqualifying your spirit. Yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still pressing forward. You may not realize it, but your endurance has become prophetic evidence. Every time you refused to quit, heaven recorded it as worship. Every moment you chose peace instead of revenge, forgiveness instead of bitterness, was a victory unseen by men, but celebrated by angels. You carry a divine seal, one that not everyone can see, but everyone can feel. It's the reason you can enter a room and shift the atmosphere. It's why you sense when something is spiritually off, long before others do. That's discernment, one of the signatures of those who are marked. Let me tell you about a woman named Sarah. She was ordinary in the eyes of many, worked long hours, lived quietly, never sought attention. But there was a peace about her that people couldn't explain. One day, a colleague going through deep grief approached her and said, "When I stand near you, I feel safe." That's when Sarah realized her presence wasn't ordinary. It was an assignment. That's how heaven's seal works. It turns your life into sanctuary for others. You may not preach from pulpits, but your existence preaches. You may not quote scripture aloud, but your patience, your grace, your calm under pressure, all of it speaks louder than words. Sometimes, being sealed means being misunderstood. The favor on your life will confuse those who measure worth by comparison. They'll wonder why things that destroy others only make you stronger. But you know the secret. What's on you is not human resilience. It's divine préservation. You are sealed so that no counterfeit can replace you. No storm can eraser you. And no voice can define you. Heaven has already stamped mine over your name. And even when you doubt your purpose, your seal speaks for you. It opens doors you didn't knock on. It protects you from traps you never saw. It exposes enemies who hide behind smiles. The mark of heaven draws both battle and blessing, but it guarantees victory. You might not see it in mirrors, but the seal shines brightest when you love without being loved back. When you forgive without an apology. When you serve without applause. That's what makes you different. That's what proves you are chosen. If you've felt that undeniable stirring lately, as though heaven has been realigning your steps, closing some doors and opening others, know that you are in the unveiling phase. The seal is beginning to manifest outwardly. What was once spiritual is becoming visible. And here's something sacred. Whenever God seals someone, He also surrounds them with divine protection. You don't need to fight for validation. You need only walk in obedience. The right people will recognize your light without you needing to announce it. Chosen one. You carry heaven's insignia. Every trial that should have broken you has only made it shine brighter. You are not trying to become chosen. You already are. If this truth resonates deep in your spirit, type 222 inches the comments. It's a prophetic act. A quiet agreement between you and heaven that you acknowledge the seal over your life. 222 symbolizes divine alignment. The moment when purpose meets timing, when heaven's will and your obedience intertwine. When you comment it, you're not typing numbers, you're declaring, I am aligned. I am marked. I am ready. You are the living proof that what God seals, no power can steal. And soon, the world will see the evidence of what heaven has already affirmed within you. There is a sacred moment between breaking and becoming a place where everything you once clung to falls apart. Yet deep down you know, it must. You can feel it. Something old is dying so that something divine can rise. This is not the end. This is the holy unraveling that precedes transformation. When life shatters, it's not to destroy you, but to release you from the structures that can no longer hold your destiny. The breaking before the bloom is necessary. Every seed knows this truth. It must crack open for new life to emerge. Without the breaking, there can be no sprouting. Without the pain, there can be no power. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the book of John, chapter 12, verse 24. Unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. 11. The dying of the seed is not tragedy, it's transition. That's what God has been doing in you. The dreams that seemed to fall apart, the relationships that dissolved, the plans that vanished, they weren't punishments. They were divine disruptions meant to shift you from comfort into calling. Sometimes, God will allow everything familiar to crumble. Not because you failed, but because you've outgrown the space. Like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, you can't stay where you were and still become who you are meant to be. The cocoon feels like confinement, but it is construction. Inside it, Everything that once defined you dissolves and rearranges into wings. The breaking is not cruel, it's creative. Heaven never wastes a collapse. Every broken piece of your story becomes material for the new structure God is building. You were never meant to remain the same. Growth always requires letting go. There was a man named Ezra who had everything the world admired: success, recognition, comfort. Yet one day, it all vanished within weeks. Contracts dissolved, friendships disappeared, and he was left with questions that burned through his faith. For months, he wrestled with confusion, until one evening, sitting in his darkened apartment, he whispered, "If I've lost everything, then let me find you." That night, peace entered the room, not through answers, but through presence. From that day forward, he stopped trying to rebuild the old and started walking into the new. Within a year, he found himself in a new city, serving others, carrying more joy than he had ever known. The breaking had made room for the bloom. That's the mystery of God's process. He breaks what's brittle to make space for what's eternal. He allows the outer shell of your expectations to fall away so that your true essence can breathe. What feels like loss is often liberation in disguise. You've been trying to hold together what God is trying to release. Sometimes He must let things shatter so you finally stop patching what He intends to replace. It's not punishment, it's promotion. You cannot move into resurrection while still clinging to what belongs to burial. Think of a field after a storm, branches scattered, soil overturned. Everything looks ruined, but beneath that chaos, nutrients have been stirred, seeds have been repositioned, and the ground is being readied for growth. That's your life right now. The surface may look messy, but underground, destiny is taking root. It's okay to grieve what's gone. Even Jesus wept before performing miracles. But do not mistake pain for abandonment. Sometimes God's silence is not distance, it's depth. He's working deeper than you can see. In your breaking season, learn to breathe differently. You no longer breathe to survive, you breathe to surrender. Each exhale releases what no longer serves you, and each inhale invites what heaven is sending next. This is how transformation happens, not through striving, but through stillness. When everything you thought you needed begins to slip away, remember, you are not losing. You are being lightened. The extra weight cannot go where you are headed. Heaven is trimming your branches so your fruit can flourish freely. You may feel fragile now, but fragility is the birthplace of faith. Brokenness is where God plants strength. It's the soil where trust grows, roots deep enough to withstand any storm. And soon, very soon, you will see the bloom. You'll look back and realize the breaking was not random, it was revelation. God wasn't removing you from favor, He was removing the layers hiding it. This is your metamorphosis. It's the moment when what was hidden within finally begins to rise. You are becoming something heaven has been designing all along. You are stepping from fragments into fullness, from ashes into beauty, from breaking into bloom. There comes a time when the wilderness quiets, and out of that stillness, a voice begins to speak, not from the outside, but from deep within your spirit. It is the same voice that called the prophets, the same whisper that once turned shepherds into kings. It does not shout. It calls softly, like a wind through leaves. It is the voice in the wilderness, summoning you to step forward. You've spent so long listening to the noise of opinions, expectations, and doubts that you almost forgot what God's voice sounded like. But when everything else was stripped away, when the world grew silent, He finally had your full attention. The wilderness was not isolation, it was the classroom of intimacy, as recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 21. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." That voice has always been there, but only the still heart can hear it. You weren't abandoned in the wilderness, you were being tuned to the frequency of heaven. Now, every word you hear feels alive. Every nudge in your spirit feels sacred. Every quiet confirmation feels like divine alignment. There was a woman named Ruth Ann who once thought she had lost everything: her family, her sense of direction, her confidence. She spent months wandering emotionally, questioning if she'd ever hear God again. One evening, while walking by a lake, she whispered, "If you still speak, I'm still listening." A gentle breeze brushed her face, and inside, a sentence formed, not in her mind, but in her heart: "Go home to where peace feels like purpose." Those words changed everything. Within weeks, she reconnected with her true calling, serving others through compassion and prayer. That is how the voice of God works. It often doesn't sound spectacular, but it shifts everything quietly. It doesn't control you, it invites you. It doesn't demand, it draws. When you hear it, it doesn't produce fear, it brings peace, clarity, and courage all at once. You have heard that voice too, though you might have doubted it. Remember the time you almost made a decision that didn't sit right in your spirit? That unease wasn't anxiety, it was the Spirit protecting you. Remember the moment you felt led to encourage a stranger, and later they said, "Your words came at the perfect time." That was God speaking through you. The voice in the wilderness doesn't only speak to you, it speaks through you. You become a vessel of divine words, carrying comfort, warning, and healing to others who can't yet hear clearly. Your experiences in the desert have sharpened your hearing, so you can help others discern when the noise around them grows loud. Sometimes the voice sounds like conviction, sometimes like comfort, and sometimes like command. But it always carries love, even when it corrects. It does so gently, guiding you back toward the path of peace. You'll know it's Him, because His voice never humiliates, it restores. It never accuses, it awakens. Think of a shepherd guiding sheep through rocky terrain. The sheep may not always see the shepherd, but they move toward his tone. That's you now, learning to follow sound, not sight. When you trust the voice, you don't need the full map, you just need the next instruction. In a world that glorifies volume, God still works through whispers. The quiet moments are where transformation begins. He could shout from the sky, but instead, He chooses intimacy, because when you hear Him in the stillness, you know it's not imagination, it's communion. So, if the path ahead looks uncertain, pause. Listen again. The direction is already being spoken. You just need to recognize it. The same voice that led you through the wilderness will now lead you into purpose. It might sound like a sudden thought, a gentle pull, a word from Scripture that won't leave your heart. Sometimes it comes through people, through music, through silence. But when it's Him, you'll know. His presence carries peace that no counterfeit can imitate. You are learning what prophets once knew, that guidance is not about location, but about connection. The voice doesn't always tell you where to go. Sometimes it tells you who to become. And as you begin to walk in that awareness, your confidence will shift. You'll move differently, speak differently, live differently, not because you have more answers, but because you have a deeper trust. The wilderness was never meant to confuse you. It was designed to clarify you. And now, in the gentle unfolding of time, the same God who once spoke creation into being is speaking again through the chambers of your own renewed heart. You are not wandering anymore. You are walking with direction. The voice that once called you into the wilderness is now calling you out of it with instruction, assurance, and peace. There is a moment when all the quiet years of waiting begin to make sense, when what was hidden in darkness starts to shimmer in the light. You begin to feel it, the shift, the unveiling, the sense that heaven is turning the page. What was once buried is about to be recognized. This is the moment of recognition. You may not see the full picture yet, but the signs are all around you. Conversations align. Opportunities whisper your name. And even strangers seem to confirm what God already told you in private. You are stepping into the chapter where heaven's preparation becomes public confirmation. The Word of God declares in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay." You've waited longer than most would dare. You've prayed when silence was your only answer. And now, that waiting is turning into unveiling. Heaven doesn't forget its promises. It fulfills them at the perfect intersection of readiness and time. You might not realize it, but people are already starting to see the glow of grace around you. They can't explain it, but they sense it. The same light that was forming in private is beginning to leak through the cracks of your life, spilling into everything you touch. There was a young artist named Mira who spent years painting in solitude. She submitted her work to galleries, but rejection came again and again. Still, she painted. Still, she believed. One day, her art was discovered not because she pushed, but because someone stumbled upon it while searching for something else. That discovery changed her life. But more than recognition, what moved her was hearing these words from a curator: "Your art feels like prayer." She realized then heaven had been shaping her gift for that moment all along. That's what God does with chosen ones. He refines them in obscurity so that when their time of recognition comes, they are ready not just to shine, but to serve. Recognition is not about fame, it's about function. It's when heaven says, "Now the world can see what I've been building in you." And do not fear the light. Even if it feels unfamiliar, you've lived so long surviving in shadows that the spotlight might feel like exposure. But remember, this light isn't meant to blind you, it's meant to reveal you. You are not stepping into pride, you are stepping into purpose. Recognition isn't about applause, it's about alignment. It's when people, places, and timing finally sync to the rhythm heaven already wrote. The things that once didn't work begin to fall into place effortlessly, not because the world changed, but because you did. You've become who the promise required. You will soon meet people who see you the way heaven sees you. They won't be threatened by your light, they'll be drawn to it. These are destiny connections, souls assigned to your mission. When you encounter them, you'll know it will feel like remembering something your spirit already knew. This season is about recognition, not validation. You don't need approval to be appointed. You were chosen long before anyone noticed. Recognition is just earth catching up to what heaven already declared. And when it happens, when doors open, when favor flows, when you stand in spaces you once only dreamed of, stay humble. The same God who hid you is the one revealing you. He doesn't lift you up for applause, but for assignment. If this message stirs something deep inside, if you can feel that your time is approaching, type "I'm seen now" in the comments. When you write it, you're not demanding recognition from people, you're declaring that heaven's spotlight is finally shining through you. You're saying, I accept visibility, not for pride, but for purpose. Your recognition isn't about being known by many, it's about being known by the right ones. The world may see your results, but heaven knows your roots. And when the two align, your impact multiplies effortlessly. Chosen one. Prepare yourself. The season of obscurity is ending. What was once quiet will soon echo. What was hidden in the soil is breaking through to bloom. The vision tarried. Yes, but now, it will not delay. When that moment comes, don't shrink back. You were prepared for this light. Recognition isn't an accident, it's heaven's timing colliding with your obedience. You are not stepping into fame, you are stepping into function, carrying presence into places that once felt unreachable. Every look, every word, every act of grace you give will now carry multiplied impact. You've waited long enough now. Walk boldly into what's already yours. Heaven's applause has simply become visible on earth. There comes a moment when what was promised begins to appear not as lightning, but as dawn. It's not loud, not rushed, but gradual and sure. That's how divine exposure works. It unfolds quietly until suddenly you realize you are standing in answered prayers. The world begins to see what heaven always saw. For years, you wondered why your time hadn't come. You thought God had forgotten your name. But he was never silent out of neglect. He was waiting for the right season, the right soil, the right hearts to receive what you carry. Now, that time is ripening. The ancient words recorded in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18, remind us, the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us. You are living that verse right now. Every hardship, every tear, every night of confusion, it was currency for this moment. You were being refined so that glory could dwell within you without cracking the vessel. Heaven's light shines best through souls that have survived the fire. Divine exposure doesn't arrive as fame, it arrives as fruit. Suddenly, people will begin to notice peace in your presence, clarity in your words, stability in your spirit. They will call it confidence, but you'll know it's communion. You've spent so long listening in secret that now you carry the voice of heaven in your tone. There was a woman named Layla who had been teaching children in a small village for over a decade. No one outside her town knew her name. She poured love into every lesson, prayed over every child, and gave what little she had to keep their classroom alive. One day, a traveler passed through, saw her dedication, and wrote about her online. Within weeks, donations flooded in. transforming that tiny school into a sanctuary of hope. But Layla didn't change. She simply smiled and said, God decided it was time for others to see what he's been doing all along. Olé, that's divine exposure. When heaven decides that what's hidden in humility should finally be seen by the world, not to elevate the person, but to magnify the purpose. And as you step into that season, remember this: exposure is not about spotlight, it's about stewardship. You are being entrusted with influence, not to be admired, but to be effective. The light that shines from you is sacred. Guard it, nurture it, keep it pure. People will come with curiosity, and that's okay. Light always attracts. But don't dim it out of fear or false humility. Shine naturally. Shine honestly. Let the glow be gratitude, not performance. You may wonder what role you play in all of this, how to respond to what God is unfolding. The answer is simple: stay open, stay generous, stay soft. Imagine this message as a single candle in a dark hall. Each like, each share, each word of support becomes another candle lit. Soon the hall glows, not because one flame burned brighter, but because many hearts believe together. That's how movements begin, through light shared, not hoarded. If this message has touched something deep in you, let your light join us. Click like to let the flame grow. Share it to pass the warmth forward. Subscribe to walk this unfolding path of revelation together. And if your spirit feels stirred to go beyond words, to pour a drop of your oil into this mission, then do so as a free act of love, not obligation. Every small donation is like adding fresh oil to a lamp that burns through the night, ensuring its flame guides another soul who still wanders. You are not funding content, you are fueling comfort. You are keeping light alive for hearts that are running low on hope. The beauty of giving is that it always returns multiplied, not always in the form you expect, but often as peace, favor, or unexpected alignment. When you give from sincerity, heaven doesn't forget. It records the fragrance of your generosity like incense. You may never see all the lives your gift touches, but heaven will. A stranger might breathe again because of a message you helped sustain. Someone's tears might dry because your kindness kept the light burning one more day. So, if this message reached you, let gratitude guide you. Support, share, or simply speak life into someone else today. Each act, small or great, becomes part of a divine chain reaction that changes hearts across continents. And always remember, you are not giving to me, you are giving with me. Together, we are building a lighthouse, one flame at a time. Each act of generosity becomes another window through which heaven's glory shines. Let your light join the others. Let your heart stay open. Let your giving, whether it's a prayer, a share, or a seed, be your quiet. Amen to God's unfolding plan. Because when you pour out what you have, He pours in what you need. There are seasons when the fire seems to surround you on every side, when life feels heavy, unpredictable, and painfully uncertain. It's easy to believe that the heat means something went wrong. But what if the fire is not punishment, but purification? What if the flame you fear is actually forming you? The refining fire doesn't come to destroy, it comes to define. God doesn't send flames to burn you away, but to burn away what no longer belongs. Every trial, every loss, every disappointment is a refining process. designed to reveal the gold hidden beneath the dust. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 66, verse 10, "For you, God, tested us, you refined us like silver. Oh, silver cannot shine until it faces the heat. The metal must melt for its impurities to surface, and only then can the craftsman see his reflection. The same is true for you. Heaven turns up the fire, not to watch you suffer, but to see its reflection, its own image, shine back from your soul. You've been through seasons where you wondered, why does everything hurt at once? Why does peace feel so far away? But even in the pain, something sacred was happening. The impurities of fear, pride, and doubt were rising to the surface. So God could remove them gently and leave only faith behind. In ancient times, a silversmith knew the metal was ready when he could see his face clearly reflected in it. That is how God watches you in the fire. He doesn't leave the furnace unattended. He stays close, eyes fixed on you, hands steady on the flame, waiting until his likeness shines through. There was a young woman named Talitha who went through a storm she didn't think she'd survive. In 1 year, she lost her job. Her health faltered, and someone she loved betrayed her. She prayed, but heaven felt silent. In that silence, she began to write her feelings to God every night, not knowing that those letters would later become the foundation for a book that helped thousands find peace. What she once saw as ashes became the soil of her ministry. That's what the refining fire does. It transforms survivors into stewards. It takes what once burned you and turns it into light for others. You may not see it now, but every flame around you has purpose. The heat is revealing strength you didn't know you had. It's teaching you endurance that comfort never could. It's purifying your motives, deepening your compassion, and shaping your destiny. When metal melts, it becomes more flexible. That's how faith works. The trials that make you weep are the same ones that make your heart pliable to God's touch. When you yield to the process, the pain becomes holy. It becomes participation in creation itself. Think of gold purified in a crucible. The more it's refined, the more it glows. That's why, even when you feel surrounded by fire, something inside you begins to shine stronger. People notice. They can't explain it, but they see resilience in your eyes. That light is not yours alone. It's heaven's fire reflected through you. There's beauty in this mystery. Pain has never been wasted in God's hands. He uses suffering as a sculptor, uses a chisel not to destroy the marble, but to reveal the masterpiece within. The very moments that break your heart are the same ones that build your spirit. And when the flames subside, you will emerge changed, not bitter, but brilliant, not fragile, but fortified. You will carry the scent of fire, not as smoke from what burned, but as perfume from what survived. Sometimes, God lets the furnace burn longer because He knows how precious your gold will be. Every second in the heat adds more radiance to the reflection. It's why those who've suffered deeply often love more deeply. They've seen the fire and found God in it. So, if the temperature of your life feels unbearable right now, breathe. The fire is temporary, but the transformation is eternal. The hands that allowed the flame are the same hands that hold you steady within it. When this season passes, and it will, you'll look back and see that the flames never consumed you. They only consumed what couldn't stay. What remains will be stronger, purer, and unmistakably divine. You are not being destroyed, you are being refined. The heat you feel is heaven's process of revealing its reflection in you. And soon, when the fire lifts, others will see the glow that only those who've endured the furnace can carry. Everything begins to move when heaven decides it's time for alignment. Suddenly, things that once made no sense start to fit together like the final pieces of a divine puzzle. What felt delayed now feels deliberate. You realize the detours were directions in disguise. This is the alignment shift, the moment when heaven rearranges everything around you so that purpose and timing finally meet. You may not have recognized it while living through it, but each change in your life has been part of this sacred choreography. The friendships that faded, the opportunities that slipped away, even the sudden restlessness that pushed you to leave certain places, none of it was random. God has been quietly moving the scenery of your story so that your next act unfolds perfectly on time. As written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Len, you've made plans, dreamed dreams, and drawn maps, only to watch heaven erase and redraw them. But those redirections weren't rejection, they were refinement. When alignment begins, God doesn't ask for permission. He simply starts placing you where you were meant to be all along. There was a young musician named Ellen who spent years chasing stages, believing success meant being seen. Every door she tried to open slammed shut. Tired and frustrated, she finally prayed, God, if I'm in the wrong place, move me to the right one. Within months, she met a mentor who taught her how to compose music for films, a path she had never considered. Today, her melodies travel to hearts across the world, carrying peace to people she will never meet. Ellen realized she wasn't denied, she was redirected into destiny. That's what divine alignment feels like. It interrupts your comfort, but completes your calling. It pulls you away from what you think you want to give you, what you truly need. Sometimes alignment requires shaking. The structures you built begin to tremble. Not because you did something wrong, but because God is rearranging the foundation. You may feel tension in your relationships, shifts in your workplace, or an inner stirring that refuses to let you stay where you are. Don't resist it. Movement means momentum. Heaven is repositioning you for impact. The alignment shift is rarely comfortable. It often feels like losing control, but it's really about surrendering control, like a sailor adjusting the sails. Your part is not to command the wind, but to cooperate with it. Trust the direction, even when the destination is unclear. Think of it this way: when a clock is repaired, the gears must be taken apart, cleaned, and then reassembled. During that process, nothing seems to function. But once the pieces align, every tick and tock becomes precise again. That's your life right now. You're in the reassembly phase. God is aligning the gears of your purpose so your future can run smoothly. You may find that certain people no longer fit your rhythm, and that's okay. Alignment means distance sometimes. Not everyone is meant to move with you. The ones who remain are those who resonate with your new frequency. Let them in, and release the rest with peace. As the shift continues, signs will follow. You'll notice that small miracles start unfolding naturally. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time. speaking the right words without planning them. That's alignment at work, heaven's invisible hand, orchestrating visible outcomes. It's important to remember, divine alignment is not about perfect conditions, it's about perfect timing. You can't force it, you can only flow with it. So, if lately you've been sensing change, if doors are closing faster than you can understand and new ones are opening unexpectedly, rejoice. You are in the middle of realignment. God is not removing stability, He's building it. And when your spirit recognizes this truth, when you know that every shift is a sign that heaven is near, mark this moment as sacred. Type 555 inches. The comments, a prophetic act, symbolizing grace, multiplied. Divine order. And transition, completed. By doing so, you're declaring, I am ready for alignment. I trust the movement. I receive the rearrangement. This is not the end of your plans, it's the unveiling of His. Everything is falling into place exactly as it should. And soon, you will see how perfectly heaven's rhythm fits your own. When divine alignment completes its work, peace will replace pressure. You'll stop forcing what was never yours and start flowing with what always was. Everything that once felt scattered will begin to sing in harmony, your timing, your relationships, your purpose, all resonating with heaven's rhythm. That's when you'll know alignment has arrived. Every transformation requires a sacred exchange, the surrender of what was for the birth of what will be. The moment always arrives quietly, after the breaking and the refining, when your spirit finally stops clinging to the old and begins to reach for the new. This is the mantle exchange. You have carried many versions of yourself, the one who tried to fit in, the one who fought for approval, the one who doubted their own worth. Each version served a purpose, but none were permanent. The time has come for release. Heaven does not clothe you in glory until it knows you've outgrown the garments of survival. It is written in the second book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 13. Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. And that verse marks more than succession, it marks transformation. When Elisha took Elijah's mantle, he didn't just receive power, he received identity. The cloak symbolized responsibility, authority, and continuity of calling. He had to let go of being a follower to become a forerunner. That's what God is asking of you now, to pick up the mantle that has been waiting at your feet. It has been there all along. But heaven will not allow you to wear it until you've learned humility, obedience, and trust. You've gone through the breaking, the silence, the refining fire. All of it prepared you for this moment. Every delay carved character, every disappointment deepened wisdom. The weight of glory cannot rest on unsteady hearts. And that's why your process took time. But now, your heart has been strengthened by surrender. The old you is still whispering, trying to convince you that you're not ready, that you're still too flawed, too uncertain. But heaven disagrees. The mantle has been tailored to your scars. What once hurt you has become the exact shape that helps it fit. There was a man named Jonah, not the prophet of old, but a modern soul who lived with quiet purpose. After years of working in a place that drained his spirit, he lost his job and feared he'd failed his family. But in that loss, he rediscovered prayer, rediscovered passion, rediscovered calling. Months later, an opportunity came for him to mentor young men who had lost their way. The same compassion born from his pain became the foundation of his new purpose. Jonah realized the job loss wasn't the end, it was the exchange. The mantle of leadership was waiting in the ashes of his disappointment. The mantle always comes after surrender. You cannot grasp it while your hands are full of yesterday. To receive it, you must unclench your grip on what you thought you needed: the title, the image, the security, and let God place in your hands what will never fade. When you wear your new mantle, things will shift. You'll notice that conversations change, responsibilities deepen, and heaven trusts you with influence that carries eternal weight. But with it comes new humility. True mantles are heavy, not because they burden, but because they anchor you to purpose. Imagine a torch being passed in a relay. The runner cannot hold on to both the baton and the weight of hesitation. They must open their hand, receive, and run. That's the posture of this moment. Open hands, open heart. You are not starting over, you are stepping forward. Sometimes, the mantle you inherit won't look like you expected. It may not bring applause or visibility. It might come as quiet leadership, unseen faithfulness, or a heart that refuses to quit. But make no mistake, it carries heaven's authority every time you act in love, speak truth, or stand firm. That mantle moves through you. The exchange changes more than your name, it changes your nature. The things that used to wound you now roll off. The fears that used to stop you lose their grip. You begin to walk lighter, speak wiser, love deeper. You no longer react, you respond. That's the sign you've received it. And though it feels new, it will also feel strangely familiar, because in truth, the mantle isn't something added to you, it's something revealed within you. It's who you've always been beneath the fear and striving. You are now standing on your own Jordan, just like Elisha did. The old cloak has fallen. The new one awaits. All you must do is reach down and lift it. And when you do, everything changes, not because you become someone else, but because you finally become yourself. Every battle begins in the mind before it ever reaches the world around you. The greatest wars you fight are not with others, but within the constant tension between faith and fear, promise and doubt, peace and pressure. This is the battle for your mind, the final proving ground of the chosen ones. You can stand in the middle of blessing and still feel imprisoned if your thoughts remain unguarded. The enemy doesn't always come to steal your possessions. Sometimes, he only needs to steal your perspective. If he can cloud your vision, he can dull your purpose. That's why renewing the mind isn't optional, it's survival. As the Apostle writes in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Oh, transformation begins where your thoughts change direction. The world teaches you to fear lack, to chase approval, to measure worth by visibility. But heaven invites you to think differently, to see abundance where the world sees scarcity, to value hidden growth over public recognition, to trust that stillness can be progress. Your mind is sacred territory, the garden where faith grows. But every garden requires tending. Thoughts of comparison, fear, and self-doubt are weeds that creep in quietly. If left alone, they choke out your peace. You must uproot them daily, replacing them with truth. There was a woman named Imani who constantly battled anxiety. Her outer life looked stable, but inside she was always racing, overthinking every decision, fearing every silence. One morning, while reading scripture, she felt a nudge. Your thoughts are the gate, guard them like treasure. That day, she began a new practice. Every time a fearful thought entered, she replaced it with a declaration of faith. Over time, her mind shifted from chaos to calm. What changed wasn't her situation, it was her meditation. That is the secret of victory, mastering the battlefield within. When you control your thoughts, you control your future. Every destiny begins as a decision, and every decision begins as a thought. Think of your mind as a mirror. It reflects whatever you focus on. If you keep gazing at past failures, you'll see nothing but fragments. But if you turn your gaze toward God's promises, the reflection begins to heal. The mind doesn't just follow truth, it becomes it. Sometimes, spiritual warfare isn't about casting out darkness around you, but confronting the shadows within you. The enemy whispers lies that sound almost like truth. You're not enough. You missed your chance. You're too late. But heaven answers each one with love that cannot lie. You are chosen. You are on time. You are mine. Every time you choose to believe that voice, light expands. Faith grows not from perfection, but from persistence. You may fall into doubt 100 times, but every time you return to faith, your spirit becomes stronger. The battle may not disappear, but your endurance increases until peace becomes your default. You are learning to take your thoughts captive instead of being taken captive by them. This is not denial, it's discipline. When a fearful idea arises, you don't entertain it, you examine it under the light of truth. When guilt tries to whisper, you remind yourself that grace already answered. Imagine your mind as a fortress built on sacred ground. Every prayer, every verse you meditate on becomes a brick. Every moment you choose hope instead of despair strengthens the walls. Over time, the fortress becomes unshakable not because storms stop coming, but because they can no longer enter. This inner war is not a sign of failure. It's proof that you're valuable. No one attacks an empty house. The enemy fights hardest where the greatest treasures are stored, and in you, heaven has hidden purpose beyond measure. So guard your mind the way a watchman guards the city at night. Be attentive to what enters through your gates, what you see, what you hear, what you allow yourself to dwell on. Thoughts shape worlds. Protect yours like gold. Peace isn't found by escaping battle, it's built within it. Every moment you choose truth over torment. Every time you breathe and remember who you are, you reclaim ground. The mind that once feared everything becomes the mind that fears nothing because it finally trusts the one who commands the storm. Soon, you'll notice something shift. The noise will lessen. The panic will quiet, and the stillness inside will become your strongest weapon. That's when you'll realize the battle was never to destroy you, it was to train you. Your thoughts have become your allies. Your mind, once restless, has become a sanctuary. You are no longer at war with yourself. You are at peace with heaven, and that peace is armor no darkness can penetrate. There is a moment when silence turns into soft triumph, when the storms that once frightened you now bow before your peace. That moment is sacred. It's the crowning of the chosen one, the quiet coronation of endurance. Your crown does not arrive with ceremony. It descends gently, invisible yet undeniable, like sunlight resting on mountains after a long night of rain. You don't chase it, you grow into it. Every trial, every surrendered tear has been weaving this unseen glory around your soul. The Word of God declares in the second book of Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day." That day is not distant. It is now, unfolding quietly within you. Your crown is made of unseen victories, the nights you forgave, the mornings you rose again, the moments you chose faith instead of fury. There was once a teacher named Naima who served for decades in a hidden village. She prayed for generations of children, often wondering if anyone noticed her devotion. One evening, a grown student returned and said, "Your patience taught me how God loves." In that instant, Naima felt a warmth deeper than any reward the crown had already been placed. That is what heaven's crowning feels like. Not applause, but arrival. Not recognition, but revelation. It's the moment you realize that love was always the victory. Now that crown rests on you. It changes how you walk, how you see, how you speak. It doesn't make you higher than others. It makes you a light among them. Your humility becomes your scepter, your compassion, your throne. And now, beloved chosen one, we weave our stories together. Every heartbeat of this message, every word whispered into your spirit, is like gold thread in a shared tapestry. But even gold dims if it isn't tended. When hearts gather to keep the light burning, the crown grows brighter. If this message touches your heart, let your response be a ripple. Like it, as you would lift your candle to the wind, steady and sincere. Share it the way you might hand someone a lantern in the dark, saying softly, "This helped me, maybe it will help you too." Subscribe, not from habit, but from harmony, so that when heaven speaks again, your spirit is already listening. And if the whisper inside you says, "Give," let that giving be worship, not obligation. Imagine each donation as a drop of perfume poured onto the feet of purpose, its fragrance rising where you'll never go, blessing lives you'll never meet. What you release becomes light that travels farther than your name. Every act of generosity is a jewel added to your crown. Not of pride, but of participation. You're not giving to sustain words, you're giving to sustain hope. You're helping keep a lighthouse glowing for the next soul who drifts through darkness, searching for direction. And to you who choose to stay, comment below, write something simple, something real. A few heartfelt words that say, "I'm still shining." Each comment is like another star appearing in this sky of testimony. Proof that light multiplies when it's shared. The crown you wear is not a final prize. It's an invitation to keep radiating. You have endured the fire, and now you glow from within it. Walk gently but boldly. Speak kindly but powerfully. Carry your invisible crown into visible places, letting grace be your language. And as you do, remember, every like is a spark, every share a torch, every donation a drop of oil that keeps the flame alive. Together, we're not chasing crowns, we're creating constellations of faith across the world. The path ahead may still hold shadows, but remember, crowns shine brightest in low light. Every challenge that meets you now will only polish your radiance. The same God who placed the crown upon your spirit will guide your steps with unseen grace and unmistakable purpose. And as you continue walking, do so with open hands. Carry your light without striving to prove it. Let humility be your rhythm and gratitude your song. Those who cross your path will not see perfection, they will feel peace. That peace will become your legacy. In the quiet of your soul, lift your heart once more. Whisper your thanks for every season, the pain, the lessons, the awakening. All of it has brought you here, to this sacred calm. The crown rests securely now, not above you, but within you. You are becoming everything heaven imagined. There is a moment when revelation arrives not as thunder, but as clarity. It's the moment when God finally reveals why you were chosen out of millions. You start to see the divine logic behind every unanswered prayer, every delay, every tear. What once felt random now feels orchestrated. You realize that the story you lived was never only about you, it was about what heaven wanted to reveal through you. You were never chosen for comfort, you were chosen for purpose. To carry something specific, something heaven designed before time began. The storms you faced were tailored not to destroy you, but to prepare the vessel that could hold what others could not. You've been entrusted with an assignment that carries eternal weight. And now the curtain is lifting on why. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? That verse doesn't speak only of queens or crowns, it speaks of timing, of divine placement, of purpose that demands courage. You were not just placed here, you were positioned. Every experience, both joyful and painful, has been aligning you for this specific hour. There was a man named Theo who grew up feeling unseen, convinced that his quiet nature made him insignificant. Yet over the years, he became the one people came to when life fell apart. He never sought a platform, but his compassion became his influence. One day, while comforting a grieving stranger, he realized the truth. His empathy was his ministry. The very sensitivity he once saw as weakness was heaven's tool for healing others. That was his revelation, his why. Then, your own revelation might not come as a single event. It may unfold in whispers, in moments that seem small but carry eternal echoes. It might come when you realize that your endurance has inspired others to keep believing, or when your words bring peace to someone on the verge of giving up. The reason you were chosen isn't always about leading crowds, it's about carrying light. Revelation is not just information, it's transformation. When God shows you why, He also shows you who you truly are. You begin to see that your uniqueness was never a flaw. It was the fingerprint of heaven. The way you feel deeply, the way you notice things others overlook, the way your heart breaks for people. None of it is random. These are the markings of the mission you were born for. You are the answer to a specific kind of need in this world. Your presence is a divine solution. That's why your path couldn't mirror anyone else's. Your training had to be personal. You were being sculpted to fit a need heaven foresaw long before you were born. Sometimes, revelation doesn't come until you stop running. When you finally rest in who you are, God begins to unfold what you carry. You stop comparing and start comprehending. You stop wishing for different gifts and begin using the ones already in your hands. That shift from envy to embodiment is revelation taking root. You'll know the revelation has come when peace replaces striving, when you no longer chase validation but carry quiet confidence, when you can look back at your wilderness and say, "It had to be this way," because it did. Every detour was direction in disguise. Think of a stained glass window. Up close, all you see are fragments, pieces of different colors and shapes that seem disconnected. But when light shines through, the picture appears, and suddenly every broken piece makes sense. That's revelation, the light of heaven shining through the mosaic of your life. And when it happens, something shifts forever. You no longer ask, "Why me?" Instead, you whisper, "Thank you for trusting me." You realize that being chosen was never about being special. It was about being willing to surrender, to serve, to love, to keep believing, even when sight failed. Your life is not a coincidence. It is a conversation between heaven and earth, written through your obedience. Every breath you take continues that story. And now, as you walk in this understanding, you carry revelation not just as knowledge, but as presence. You are heaven's evidence, proof that divine purpose can live inside human fragility. You are the reason someone else will dare to hope again. And that is the ultimate revelation. You were chosen not to shine alone, but to ignite others. And as that truth settles in your heart, calm replaces questioning. You no longer search for meaning. It now lives within you. You were never lost. You were always being revealed. There is a stillness that comes after revelation, a sacred quiet that feels like sunrise after years of twilight. You no longer wrestle with destiny. You walk with it. You've come to understand that being chosen is not about elevation, but endurance, not about glory, but grace. The storm has done its work. The refining fire has cooled. Now you stand at the edge of fulfillment, steady and luminous. This is the legacy of the chosen ones. It's not built in grand gestures, but in steady faithfulness. Your legacy isn't a monument, it's a melody, one that keeps playing long after you're gone. Every word you spoke in kindness, every prayer you whispered unseen, every act of love you gave freely, they have become the notes of a divine song that will echo through generations. The ancient words in the book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 10, remind us, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. Len, that is your assurance. Nothing you have done in love will be forgotten. Heaven has recorded it all. Every time you forgave, every time you believed again, every time you loved without return, it became part of an eternal story. Legacy is not what people remember about you, it's what remains because of you. The chosen leave traces of heaven everywhere they go. They walk through rooms and peace lingers. They speak and hearts steady. They live, and others begin to believe again. There was a man named Caleb, a quiet soul who never sought attention but lived faithfully. When he passed, those who knew him spoke not of his possessions, but of how his presence made them feel seen. He carried peace. They said, that is legacy, not things accumulated, but lives illuminated. Your own legacy is forming in the same way. The conversations you've had, the hope you've restored, the prayers you've prayed, they have become spiritual architecture in invisible places. You may not see the structure now, but heaven sees it rising. Every act of love, is a brick in eternity's foundation. Think of your life as a river. It doesn't hoard its water, it flows freely, nourishing every valley it touches. Over time, the landscape changes. Flowers bloom where dryness once lived. When you give your life as a river, you leave beauty behind without trying. That is the way of the chosen flowing. Not forcing, giving, not grasping. And even as you age, your spirit doesn't grow old, it deepens. Wisdom replaces haste. Compassion outweighs opinion. You learn that strength isn't about resistance, it's about surrender. You discover that humility is the highest honor. The greatest proof of being chosen is not that you stand above others, but that you kneel to serve them. You've learned to listen more than speak, to forgive faster than you're asked, to see potential where others see failure. These are the final markings of the chosen. The crown is no longer something you wear, it has become something you are. When future generations speak your name, they won't talk about how much you accomplished, but how much you loved. Your presence will be remembered in the peace it left behind. That is how heaven measures greatness, not by applause, but by impact, not by fame, but by faithfulness. Legacy is never about permanence, it's about continuation. When your time here is done, the seeds you've sown will keep growing in hearts you've never met. A prayer whispered today may save someone years from now. A word of encouragement may echo in a soul long after you're gone. You are part of an eternal relay passing light, not trophies. There's a sacred calm in knowing that the work continues without you, yet carries your fingerprints. Every soul you've touched becomes a bearer of that same light. The chosen don't disappear, they disperse. They become stardust in the kingdom's story, shining quietly wherever faith flickers. And when your journey finally rests in heaven's rhythm, you'll see the full mosaic of your life, the hidden threads, the redeemed pain, the quiet triumphs. You'll understand that nothing was wasted. The hardships carved space for grace. The losses made room for legacy. You'll smile then, not because you finished perfectly, but because you finished faithfully. That is the victory of the chosen, not perfection, but persistence. You carried the torch until your breath became light itself, and from heaven's view, that light never goes out. It flows from you into generations yet unborn, a living testimony that purpose endures beyond time. You were chosen not just to live this story, but to leave it glowing for others to follow. And now, chosen one, the journey comes to rest, not in ending, but in continuation. Every word you have heard was a thread woven into something far greater than a story. It was a mirror, gently reminding you that your light was never lost. Take a moment here. Breathe. Let gratitude rise quietly like dawn over calm waters. You have walked through wilderness and wonder, through breaking and becoming. Now you stand where revelation turns into rhythm. You are ready not to search, but to shine. If these words stirred something inside you, let your response be as soft and sacred as the message itself. Like this moment as one lights a candle at the altar of remembrance, a quiet thank you whispered upward. Share it as you would release a bird into the sky, letting its wings carry hope to another soul who waits for a sign. Subscribe, not from habit, but from hunger to stay connected when heaven speaks again through these humble lines. And if love nudges you to give, do it as worship, not transaction. Imagine your donation as a seed drifting down a river. It disappears from sight, but grows trees along distant shores. Each gift keeps the current moving, carrying warmth into nights you may never see. You are not giving away, you are giving forward. Before you leave something of yourself. Write a comment, a single word, a phrase that feels like breath. Your echo among the other souls awakened here. Together, these voices form a constellation, proof that light multiplies when hearts align. Thank you for walking this long path, for feeling deeply, for believing quietly. The flame you carry now is eternal. Let it travel. Let it tell the world that you were here, and that love still wins.